Technical debt. It's something that you get when you actually have too much stuff. You can have this, let's say your room is too messy. Let's say that you have so much code generated by computers and now you just don't actually know what to do with it. Sometimes being able to take something that you have and to change it a little bit can be pretty complicated. It might make you want to start over completely. And today we're going to be diving into a little bit of that. We're also going to be summarizing. This is our 6th part of our bot series, and I think we've pretty much covered the things that I wanted to cover. So stay tuned and let's get started. Okay, Chatbots version part 6. Now, I want to just take us down a little trip of memory lane. What have we actually been learning? If you've watched all of these videos, congratulations. You are now more informed about chatbots than the person on the airplane who might be just asking a chatbot about chatbots. Socrates, we started talking about what chatbots do. Why are they so unique? Well, they use a kind of conversation medium, right? And Socrates was famous for this. Greek guy walked around, asked questions, and basically told everyone that they didn't know anything, but that's okay because he didn't know anything either. Now, we also discussed things like logical fallacies, including, red herrings, appeal to authority. We talked about logical arguments, the good kind, where you might start with the premise. For example, all men are mortal. Socrates is a man. Therefore, Socrates is mortal. Right? And it's true. Next, we talked about the nuts and bolts of chatbots. Now, these didn't start in 2021, but they started a long time ago. We had moving statues. We had different mathematical types of random chance machines. And later on, our shout out to Alan Turing, who came up with the whole idea of having a chatbot. There are more advanced things like Markov chains. And then we talked about ElizaBot, and we also talked about the coup de grace, the transformer, which is the most essential part of chatbots, modern chatbots. After that, we talked about the 4 shins, right? I think it was information, when you want to just get some kind of fact, conversion, where you might want to just kind of shape some data that you have. Then we talked about conversation, where you might want to take on a role or describe something in a way that is more amenable to just the human way of thinking, back to Socrates. Finally, the 4th shin is generation. We made like an image that had it's like a Christmas card, something like that, right? Very, very powerful, kind of all around us in a way that we don't appreciate it maybe these days. Then we talked about, in number 4 here, we talked about steering and learning, how if you actually want to use a chatbot effectively, it's nice to give them a lot of context. This is the kind of audience you're talking about. We learned about the rhetorical situation, the rhetorical triangle. Hopefully some of these words are triggering some kind of memory or at least a feeling in what we're doing here. Then we talked about coding. It's amazing. Computer coding is a very different way of thinking or doing things than chatbots or humans. And they are rigorously, ruthlessly logical. And so really that covers most of the things that I wanted to cover. And but I do want to still talk about technical debt in the context of the long-term use of chatbots and the long-term use of just the stuff, right? Stuff accumulates. And stuff can be code, it can be pieces of writing that you have, it can be files on your computer if you actually know what that is. And so today we're going to go over that summary, which we just did. I'm going to go through a couple of tips, and then we're going to pull out our old HTML code and try to integrate just a little bit more of a game component into it using ChatGPT. All right. So as part of that, we're actually going to learn just a little bit more about coding, and I'm going to call it coding philosophy. To motivate that, let's learn about the bad thing that we need coding philosophy for. This bad thing is called technical debt. Now, this is an article on IBM, which I will share. And you may not know this, but computer programmers often don't work alone, not like the creator of Minecraft who made that alone. Most of the time they're working on teams, and they're touching all kinds of things that other people have touched. And this is very difficult to explain. Maybe we should just look at some code real quick. I'm going to find a random example. So here, if you look up P5JS source code GitHub, well, it will look up this whole organization called processing, and it looks like these programmers, they actually work together. They're working on open source. What does open source mean? It means that it's basically free, and anybody can make a change if they want to make a change. This is very simplified. But let's just take a look at what the code looks like. These are folders for the code, and this is on a platform called GitHub. This becomes relevant when we want to publish our website, so pay attention, I guess. Then there's this source file here, right? And if we click on that, what ends up happening is we can actually see this whole folder structure. We talked about hierarchies. They work differently than webs, right? Than graphs and networks of graphs. And so this seems to have all of these different parts of code. You have accessibility, color, core, data, data object model, image, IO, input, output, math, typography, all of these things. Let's just take a look at the utilities. Utilities in programming, they're also all often small, tiny things. Maybe we'll look somewhere else here. Let's look at typography. Okay, so this is a P5JS font. This is in a coding language called TypeScript. And just look at all of this code. Look at all of this code. And it's very plausible somebody wrote this by hand. This is 1,392 lines of code for just this one file among, I don't even know how many files are in here, but it's a lot. It's complicated. And so what I'd like to do is to figure out the history here. If I click on history, it looks like this file has been edited a ton of times. Look at this. Look at this. Look how many changes there have been. The first change was in 2019. There's maybe about 70 changes to this file that somebody made. And you can see they're all made by different people. These programmers are effectively communicating with each other, modifying files that make some kind of progress to features that somebody actually wants. Now, there's no reason that you should know that this is actually what happens in computer programming, but guess what? This creates lots of opportunities for failure, for messing something up, and computer scientists have ways. We have our ways of trying to keep systems working. Now, it's entirely possible that a file like this changes and unchanges because of some unknown thing that somebody who isn't even really contributing anymore has changed. How do we even do this? Well, I'm not going to go over all of the principles here for software engineering and for programming, but I do want to talk about one important thing that can help you if you're designing big systems, you have a lot of code, etc. In programming, we have something called encapsulation. And encapsulation basically means you want to create a lot of little boxes where the different parts of the code that interact are isolated from each other. It's nice to design systems, programming systems, where there can be a particular thing like a class, and that class can be replaced depending on the needs. That way, if you're actually only editing one tiny thing, you might not have to change one giant file. So I'm going to try to illustrate this with abstract sketches. Encapsulation. So basically, by encapsulation, what you want to do is you want to have interfaces. Interfaces might be for little components of code. And actually, HTML is a great example of how things are encapsulated. You might have something like a.html and b.html. And these are separate files. And if you change one file, it doesn't impact the other file. In fact, these two files, they might link to each other, right? Through a reference, a hyperlink. This might point to B, and B also might point to A. And then you might be able to click from one page to the other, one page to the other. We did this already in the internet part of our series. And so this is very important because if you only had, if P5.js, for example, had a long, giant, one single piece of code and it all interacted with itself, then it's going to be very difficult to distribute how that works and to have programmers actually work on it. So today, all we're going to do is we're going to go back to our old HTML project, and let's try to think of an idea here. We're going to think of it live. Before I think of it, I have to remember even what was in my first example. So I'm going to find those files and we'll go over them together. Okay, so this is my file system here. It looks like I have a basic game and a basic game part 2. And it looks like I have a main.css, a start.png. Oh yeah, I remember drawing that. So let's just see what start looks like. I'm going to drag that into here. I see. So you are in control. What do you want to do? I could eat breakfast or I could just stay hungry. I have a great idea. Let's put a mini game inside of eat breakfast. Now, my idea is to, instead of saying get on the bus right here, is that we can make a small P5.js game and integrate it right here into our HTML that we already have. And then I'm going to try to publish it on GitHub, and we'll see if that works. It'll work. I've done it before. But I may have to set up a new account. Okay, let's remind ourselves what this actually looks like. I'm going to open it up in Notepad++. So if I want to open it up, I can get Notepad open or Notepad++. I can drag the start right here, and then there we go. I have it open. And this is very simple. I can first verify whether or not, oh, I actually don't want to open start. I want to open this one, which is called breakfast. So I'm going to open up breakfast right there. And now I'm going to make sure I can change it. So instead of saying you are in control, what do you want to do? I'm going to say win the minigame to continue. Continue. Okay. And then if I hit refresh, there it is. Now, if I go back, I'm actually going to get rid of this part right here, and I'm going to do that with an HTML comment, but you can also just delete it. It's pretty weird. I'm trying to remember the syntax. Is it this? Man, is it weird. Let's see what that does, if my memory is correct. Oh, it's totally wrong. Now I'm going to have to search it. Okay, I was close. It looks like this. And so we have a less than sign, exclamation point, couple of dashes, whatever you want, and then a couple of dashes and a greater than sign. So I'm going to switch that over here. This exclamation point goes here. This one goes away. And then I'm going to save with Control S. Then if I click refresh right here, or if I hit the F5 button on my keyboard, should do the same thing. There's a problem though. There is no minigame. Well, we can fix that. Last time I went over how you can do this, and this time I'm going to add a little bit of context. So instead of running P5.js through the online program, I'm going to try just doing this kind of blind. I'm going to try to do this and make it fairly simple, where I can just copy and paste basically the same code back and forth to try to integrate my code that I already have, because this is kind of like technical debt, although it's like very, very minimal debt. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this code that I have. Control A, Control C will copy it. You can also right click and copy it. Next, I'm going to do a very similar variation to what we did last time in terms of generating this game. But instead of using the website, I'm going to start by pasting in the code. And then from that code, I am going to move on. I'm going to have it integrate. So here's what I'm going to type. Okay, so here's what I'm doing to start with here. Make a simple short P5.js code. I want to include this in an HTML file I already have. So just add your code to integrate with the code in the end. And at the end of the game, you need to automatically send me to this link, which is a local file. Now, underneath I have integrate me, and I pasted in this code that we were just looking at. And now I'm going to try this for the game. Let's try one where you are a simple person, a character who is catching eggs. Think breakfast theme. And you only have to catch 5. So thinking about a very simple game, things drop and you try to catch them, you try not to miss them. Let's see if it goes with it or if it wants something more. Okay. Directly, it's putting all of this in directly. Looking through it. This is pulling from a separate file for P5.js. It looks kind of correct. It has some kind of eggs. It has a basket width, and this is just kind of like my first idea. This is a very simple thing. I could code it up as well, but this is just easier. And you'll notice here that there's a game container, and this game container is going to be injected with this script, and it's okay. You don't have to know any of this stuff. So what I don't quite see yet is where it moves to breakfast.html. There it is. It's sending us to school.html. That's the actual thing. Okay, so if I copy this, and before I copy it, I'm going to be old school, and I'm actually going to copy my old breakfast just in case so I don't lose it. This is something you might want to do. Control C, Control V. There's my copy. And I'm going to go back here. I'm going to click this button to copy the code. And then, where is my notepad? There it is. If I paste this, bam, look at that. So all of this code from Gemini is now right here on my computer. Of course, I have to file save it. Then I have to go here and refresh it. Hey, look at that. There's my frying pan. Caught the egg. Oh, I missed one. I missed another one. Oh, no. Oh, caught it. Breakfast is ready. Hey, there we are. Now we're at school. I don't really like the breakfast is ready thing. And so if I were really going to test this, if I was really going to try to publish this, I would probably try to change it a little bit. Okay. We are at 19 minutes, and basically this is what I wanted to show you. You can integrate things from ChatGPT or Gemini into your current process. I'm going to play the outro music, so if you are not interested, you don't have to watch this, but I'm going to show you how you could publish this content on a GitHub and actually view it from a different kind of computer. Let's try that out here. So, outro. And we're not actually over for people who want to keep watching. It's back to me. Okay, so we looked at GitHub before, right? And GitHub allows you to do some publishing web pages. So let's just look at their main page for that first. So if you Google for GitHub pages or something like it, this will show you how you can actually get a page going. And if you're doing like a public facing page and there's nothing like super custom about it, I think it's pretty much free and you can actually use HTML files directly. This is great news, right? This means that you can sort of get your own website for free. Wow, I think that's what that means. It used to mean that. Let's see if I can make a new account. How would you do that? Well, first you would. Oh, it's me again. Okay, so now all you got to do, you got to put in your email. I am gonna put in a different email here, and we'll see what happens. So I already have an account, and I'm going to try to sign up as someone else, maybe a friend here, and see if that can help. So basically, you'll just have an email, you'll have some kind of a password, you'll have a username, and let's see here. Usually you can ask for a nice password, but I don't see that here for some reason. There it is, suggest password. I'm going to do this again. Okay, we have a suggest password. Sure. Okay, now with our nice password, let's make sure that we are actually recording here. Okay, we are. We'll have our region. We don't care about receiving things. We'll create this account. Verifying your account. Okay, so that's going to ask me to do some kind of an email thing, which I will do here and some other place. Why does it say verifying your account? Verifying browser. Okay, well, maybe it's my ad block. Let's see. I'm going to check that other email. See if I got anything by email. Okay, wants me to do a puzzle. This is exciting. I'll skip this for you. I had to do like 7 of these. These are so dumb. We have lamp and calendar, lamp and not a calendar, lamp, lamp and lock, calendar, and oh, I guess it's a fish, whatever. Yikes. Then you're gonna have to get this code from an email, which you should check your email and get that. I have that now. It's a one-time use thing, so it's okay. All right, then if we sign in, hooray, there we are. Now we should be able to find some kind of a pages thing. Da, 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 da. Settings. Da, 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 da. Pages. And then see pages. I thought I saw pages. Pages. Okay, well, why is pages not doing anything? Okay, let's relook at the manual here. Okay, so to do this, we have to first create our own website, which means we have to create a repository. Wow, that sounds so scary, but it's totally fine. We're going to call this username.github.io. So we'll do this with that other account that I just made here as the repository name. You place username with your GitHub username. Okay. For example, if you use Octocat, use Octocat. Then you choose a repository visibility. We're just going to choose public because, yeah, we're just going to. Add README, repository, under your repository name, click on settings, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I've done this before, and it's pretty exciting because we can just publish the HTML pages, I think, and then let's see how to actually view it. Where are we going to view it at? View. Visit username.github.io to view your new website. So we're going to have to do one thing, though. Instead of calling it start, we're going to call it index.html. That will give the thing a hint at how to do that. So right now, instead of saying start.html, I'm going to have to change a couple of things here. We're going to do a kludge. We're going to ignore that fact for now, and we're just going to start with the repository thing. Okay. So first step is go to your area here. Next step is create a new repository. All right. Next step is make your repository name the same as your username. Next step is call it your website. In your description, there's a visibility. We're just going to say public. We're not going to add a README. We're not going to add any of this stuff. We're not going to add any of these licenses. It's too advanced for us at this point. We'll create that repository. Now, I think we can just kind of load some things here. So let's see. Can I just upload? We can do a quick setup here. We can do SSH. You know what? I messed up. We should have included README. So I'm going to add this README, and it's going to tell me I can't do it anymore. Okay, we're going to try again. I'm going to delete that and start over and include the README file. Okay, we're going back and we're adding this README. Why are we adding a README? Well, it's to populate the very first file for reasons I don't want to explain that make things just easier. So we'll add the README. We might as well not add a git ignore. I'm going to create this repository. Okay, now that there's a README, I can actually include other things here, right? I can upload files. And if I click this upload files, it kind of works like your thumb drive, right? So I'm just going to click all of these HTML files that we made before and that image and upload them straight to the website. So we'll have breakfast, hungry, the CSS file, all of these files, except the one that we copied. I'm just going to drag right here, drop them in. They're going to upload one at a time. Great. Now, this is called a commit, and it's nice to say something like initial drop of website demo. Now, if I do that, I can commit those changes, and I think maybe this is actually connected already, and if we go to this site, it'll just pop up. Let's take a look. So I'm going to use this as the HTML URL, and it appears what I get is just like a default thing. And I think if I type in /start.html, hey, we've got our game. So now this game is published, and it might even have our game in it. So if I click on eat breakfast, then I'm playing my game. And this is at my very new website at this URL that you can actually see. Wow. So you can publish all kinds of different HTML files here. Probably you'd want to have something like folders for each of the projects that you have so that when you actually go there, you have room for more than just one, because you don't want like a new email address for all of the things that you did. So GitHub is great. It's very, very good, and it allows you to basically publish these small website things for free. So it's hard to argue with that. Okay, I'm going to replay the intro, and that's it. Outro, not the intro. Thank you for watching this bot series. I hope and wish you a wonderful everything.